I'm from Bendigo. I am a local consultant in Bendigo. I've been a consultant for, I think it is coming up 2 years, Gemma. My goodness, Gemma recruited me. And I think it's coming up to 2 years in May. So that's pretty exciting. I became a consultant because it fit with my lifestyle as a mum. You'll probably see my kids run through from time to time. They'll probably try and talk to you as well. It's they're so bad. It suits me because I can run this business around them and around all the other things that I have to do as a busy mum.
So they can't see me.
So sit back, relax. If you've got any questions, chuck them into the chat area, or if it's not too loud in your background, jump off mute and ask us questions. We're happy to answer any and all of them. If you've got any suggestions for recipes or classes you'd like to see in the future, then please let us know about that also.
Reese, I'm one of the other consultants who are in Team Inspire with these girls. I joined up, I'm only new, so January this year, and yeah, I've been loving it. So I'm based in Wedderburn and sort of cover the Wedderburn and surrounding areas as a Thermomix consultant. Today, yeah, I'll be making a beetroot parmesan and cashew dip. It's a really nice quick one. I'm a bit of a savoury person, so in terms of Easter, I don't eat a lot of chocolate, so savoury is the way for me. And the other thing I'll be doing is just a pumpkin soup to share with you guys. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it.
I'm Gemma Coates. I'm also local to Bendigo. I'm just north in Raywood. Like Amanda, I'm a very busy mum with two. This is Lorelei, and she may join in. She may just get in the way, but we'll see how we go. And I've got a smaller little bub who's having a sleep, so I may run away for him as well. I joined this because it's so great for my lifestyle. And Thermomix is just such a great product to share and promote around. So it was just a no-brainer for me when I brought mine. Like Amanda said, she joined up from me. I recruited her, and so I had my Thermomix only a couple of months before she come on board with me. Hadn't met her before, and we're great mates now. So it's not only been a good business, but it's brought on some good friendships as well. Today I'm cooking a Rocky Road, or making a Rocky Road, and some lemon curd biscuits. So looking forward to showing you.
I'm Lean Themigal, and I am here with my beautiful 3 machines. Easter cheese parcels from Fleon, or Fleons. So we're just going to start with our sugar, half a tablespoon of sugar, 100 grams of milk, and 60 grams of water. So we're just going to add, I know I've got the milk and water in the 1 jug, so we're just going to add that in. And heat that for 2 minutes on 37 degrees, speed 2. So whilst that's on, I'm going to start this recipe here. And in this one, I'm going to pop on the mussels. So this is a really super, super easy recipe. It's mussels with creme fraiche and herbs. And we're just going to press start. So 80 grams of shallots cut in half. Now, I don't have shallots, so I'm going to substitute. And what I've done is I've substituted for fried shallots, and I've only done about 50 grams of that because 80 seemed a little bit strong. So I'm going to pop those in. And then the next one, pop in your parsley. Now, with your parsley, you can actually slip it through flash guard, and you can strip your parsley out of that. Now, I also keep my stems of my parsley, and I will freeze them, and I'll use them in my stock. So I don't waste anything. We finished our milk and heating it up. Now, importantly, you need to make sure that your milk or your water is heated up to 37 degrees when you're using dough. And we're going to put in 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and then some flour. So we're going to pop in, we've got 100 grams of unsalted butter, and 50 grams of olive oil about to go in as well. and they're done, you know, for Easter time. So they're quite a cheesy dish, and it normally has raisins in them as well. But my family won't like the raisins, so I'm keeping those out of those today. So just going to blitz that on speed 5 for 10 seconds. Pop in that butter. How easy is it to do dough in the Thermomix? Scrape that down, so 10 seconds, and it's all blended beautifully, mixed in, gorgeous. Going to knead it. So for 3 minutes, it's going to knead. So 40 grams of butter, and then without the measuring cup, I thought this would be a great activity for kids. So I am very excited to try these with mine. So here I have clean eggs. Now, the first thing that you need to do when you're doing eggs is make sure you clean them. So that you do that by, you know, rinsing them for about 10 minutes and putting in some vinegar. After they do that, then you want to dry them, is to wrap them in a pattern. So what I've done is I've got some lace. This one's been wrapped in lace. This one has got just some cotton. You could use muslin as well. And the cotton, and inside here, I've got some flowers. Gorgeous. So really, really soft. Our cinnamon, ground cloves, mint. So I'm using dried mint because I don't have any fresh today. So I'm using my dried mint in here. 10 grams of mint, and herbs are in there. Spices in there. And then we're going to add our cheese. So we're going to use halloumi, which is going to be that beautiful halloumi cheese that you put on the barbie. 200 grams of the Greek cheese, which is 50 grams of cheddar. So instead of using the Greek cheese, because we couldn't find it in our little town, we're just using blue cheese. Now that Greek cheese is quite a hard, salty cheese. So if you want to sub that out for Parmesan, I've got a little bit of Parmesan and some blue. So I've used some strong flavors. And then cheddar, 50 grams of cheddar. Lid on. And that's just going to grate all of that cheese for 6 seconds on speed 7. So that's how beautiful that looks so far. That's going to be the filling. 20 grams of polenta, 60 grams of sultanas. Now they are optional for you if you don't want to put them in. Half a teaspoon of baking powder and a quarter of teaspoon of granulated sugar. The egg yolks can only stay on the bench for 10 minutes roughly. The egg whites can stay on there for about 10 days. Spin that up for 3 seconds on speed 5. So in our mussels, we heated up the herbs, the butter, the shallots, and we've just sauteed all of that in there. And we're going to add the good stuff, the sherry. So I'm going to put in some. Now it has part sherry and part something else because I ran out of sherry. But that's what you do, isn't it? You just substitute 1 to 2 pinches of black pepper. We're just going to create that beautiful broth that we are going to cook our mussels in. Now, I'm going to get those out in the fridge. We're going to use our Varoma to get that on. So I'm just going to get that cook on. This is your beautiful Varoma, which fits 3.3 litres of food in there. Gorgeous mussels. In they go. Lid on, and that's going to be cooking it. Egg mode. You're just going to place in your clean eggs carefully into the bottom of the dish, of the bowl. And this is where you can add your colour. So you're going to cover them with water. You're going to add your food colouring and your vinegar, and then just put it on hard boiled. So when you do that, you just turn the dial up to hard boiled, whatever the way you want your eggs cooked, and they will start to cook.
Lovely. So yes, I'm making a Rocky Road and biscuits. I'm going to start with the Rocky Road because all the sweet treats are here and someone's going to eat them before I get a chance to finish. And then I'm going to make the lemon curd for the biscuits because they need to set a little bit in the fridge. So I'm going to see what I can get done without flipping to somebody else. And we're going to see how much Lorelai can eat before I get going. So we've got chocolate. Now, I know some people are a bit frightened of doing their chocolate melting in the Thermomix and we'll do, microwave or double boiler. I haven't had an issue. We've had enough now, hun. Hey. There you go. A few tips, though, is making sure your bowl is completely dry. Don't have any moisture in there. And mill it right up. So what I do is I've put my chocolate in there and I'll set it to speed 8 for about 8 seconds. And I'll show you how that looks. It's going to be loud, Lorelai. So this recipe isn't a guided recipe or anything. It's just one that, there we go, I've just broken that up. It's just something I'm making up as I go, really. My other tip is putting coconut oil in with your chocolate when you're melting it. So this helps when comes time to cut up whatever you've made. If you've made a slice, it makes it a lot easier. So this melts for 3 minutes on 50 degrees. On speed 2. All right, they're all done. See? So that's going to cook there. Now, I'm making these into little molds today. So, yeah, you're going to help. Just little Easter ones, so a little bit Easter inspired. And they are quite small. So for that reason, I've already got mini marshmallows. So I won't chop them further. I've added caramel chopped chips. So I think they're small enough. I will add some raspberries, sun and chibi, if there's anything left by the time we get to it, and just some biscuits. Now, the biscuits and the raspberries I will chop further in the Thermomix. So I'm going to do the chocolate first, and then I'll tip that out into my bowl, add in the parts that I want to chop up a little bit, and I'll just go by ear and have a listen to it and see how it sounds. Oh, no more. Okay. And then we'll do that lemon curd. So there's 2 minutes on that one. If it failed, has it worked for you? And if you've got any other tips, I just find as long as your bowl's dry and you chop it up nice and fine, so that speed 8, you shouldn't have much of a problem. But let me know. Perfect. That's melted there. Lovely. Yeah, we're going to pour that one in. So I've left that dirty. It's chocolate because it's all going to mix anyway. And I'm just going to I'll try 4 and see how it goes. It's a bit of a tricky one because I don't want the biscuits to be too crumbled up, but I don't want anything too large because they're quite small molds. So let's see how we go. Children, I love utilising my Thermomix around the kids. I know generally I don't have the knives around near them. And they're heat-wise, so I'm not cooking around a fry pan when they're at my feet. So my 7-month-old crawling around at my feet while I'm using my Thermomix. I'm not worried about splatters and things like that. So if you've got kids, it is quite a great tool to have in the kitchen. And my other reason I love it, sorry, I didn't show that, is that we get distracted all the time. We get sidetracked. We have to run outside and play rather than finish dinner. So I love that a meal can be cooking, and while I'm gone outside with kids or feeding the little one, by the time I come back in, food's cooked and I haven't actually ruined anything. So it is really helpful with the family. So I've just added all that in, nice and easy. All those marshmallows are in there, hey? And it has turned out quite a good consistency for those small molds there. So that's... It's got to set first, honey. All right. So what I'm going to do, because I'll play around with putting them in the molds, I'm just going to swap my bowl, the convenience of having that second bowl just behind us, and we're going to make the lemon curd so that we can come back and I can show you, I can put it all together for us. So this recipe we put into our meal planner. I love the meal planner. I love being able to easily find the recipes we're going to cook for the week, set it up for my partner and say, hey, that recipe's there ready to cook. we use the meal planner quite a lot. So this one that we're making is called the lemon curd Easter biscuits. I'm going to jump down and do the lemon curd first and come back and show you the biscuits. Okay, so this one here, my whisk, uses the whisk. Have you made a lemon curd before? Love, love, love this lemon curd. It's really delicious. So we need 120 grams of sugar. Uh, 70 grams of lemon juice. Now I have squeezed most of that, but I did want to show you another tip with that I like. So what have I got? I've got 60. So with your lemons, you can squeeze onto the rim of your lid. Your pips will stay at the top and obviously your juice will squeeze in. So I just need 10 more grams. So I'll just clear that. Is just have a bowl nearby, just so my pips don't end up jiggling into the meal, and I just flick any of the pips into the bowl. Next, I probably need that off. I do. Some butter. So 60 grams. Three eggs. We have our own chicken, so I always like to I like to break them into the lid. So I like to check all my eggs first. Oops. And again, with kids, if they're trying to help, if I crack it in there, I can save my shells from going in the whole meal. I usually just do one at a time, depending on how I'm going. The other tip with your egg is you can crack that along the rim as well. So you can crack that on the rim and your egg yolks will stay at the top rather than sinking into your bowl. So that's got 8 minutes and that's going to mix. So I'll probably jump to somebody else while that mixes.
Make them into a square. And then from the square, you're going to put in your filling in the middle and then just folding up the ends and the sides to make it into a square parcel, but you don't want to actually cover all of the cheese. So it'll look like those there. And to be baked for about 20 minutes.
Probably about 18 months ago now. This was one recipe that I made all the time. And I like this recipe simply because it's done all in the one bowl. It's really, really easy. So I'll be really quick because I know Amanda needs to get to her. But for the pumpkin soup, it's just one brown onion cut into halves. We pop that into the bowl. And the beauty of the machine is that it just chops everything up so perfectly. So we'll turn that around to speed 5 for 3 seconds. And I'll just show you. I know a lot of you already do have a Thermomix, but for anyone that may not have one, that's how well it cuts up the onion in that 3 seconds time. So now we add our 20 grams of butter. And then hit next. Now that's going to cook at 120 degrees for 3 minutes on speed 1. So that's sauteing the onions with that butter. While that's sauteing, I was lucky to get the black Thermomix, which is only about 250 left. So if you are thinking about getting one, today's the day. So the next recipe I'll do while that's cooking is the beetroot parmesan and cashew dip. It's a really, really quick recipe to follow. It's available on Cookadoo. Sorry, you can't see my hand, I'm a bit tall. So to start off with this dip, we just chuck in 80 grams of parmesan cheese. You cut them up into about 3 centimetre squares. Hit next, pop in a garlic clove. Again, hit next. The great thing about Cookadoo is that it is all the steps are there and it's got lots of instructions as well, so it's really easy to follow. Now we're going to turn that around onto speed 9 for 10 minutes. What that's doing is grating the garlic and the parmesan cheese together. I'm going to transfer this into another bowl. And you can see the garlic and the cheese, the parmesan cheese is grated perfectly. So the beauty of this, we don't have to clean the bowl at all, so I can pop the same bowl back in. Now, so 150 grams of cashew, throw that in. Again, pop the lid on your bowl. And on speed 7 for 2 seconds. Now I've got 450 grams of just the baby beetroot, which you can buy in a can. You keep about a tablespoon of the juice, and then you just get rid of the rest of the juice. Hit next. Add in that 1 tablespoon of beetroot liquid. Again, hit next. Pop in that parmesan and garlic. Next again. So the instructions are really easy to follow. And around to speed 5 for 6 seconds. So that then was just blending all those ingredients together. So we add in 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And then we season with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. So just a couple of turns of that. A couple of turns of the pepper. Popping the lid back on. And back on to speed 4 for 3 seconds. That mixes all that together again. And as easy as that, we've made our beetroot dip. So literally in under 2 minutes that's made. So it's really, really simple to make that beetroot dip. It's really, really yummy. It's a great savoury food. And yeah, it's I love it. I do that one at a lot of demos and it's a real favourite. So definitely worth a try.
It is a fabulous dip, Reese.
Yeah.
I love it as well. Has anyone made that before or haven't made it? Pop it in the chat if you haven't. That's definitely one to try.
It's on high rotation at my house, Sam.
Oh, how good is it?
Love it.
It's just so easy. Dips are really, really easy to make and so yummy. So yeah, definitely give it a go. I'm going to jump back to the pumpkin soup. So that's just sauteed for 3 minutes. Going to pop in 500 grams of pumpkin. The recipe says peeled. You can leave the skin on the pumpkin for this recipe. So 500 grams of the pumpkin. Hit next, then just 1 carrot. Next again. And for 15 seconds, we'll pop it on speed 7 and that'll chop up the pumpkin and carrot together. Now, just give you guys a bit of a look at that so you can see that that's all nicely chopped up in 15 seconds. Then we hit next. We just scrape down the sides of the bowl just to get that excess carrot and pumpkin and the onion that's popped up on the side of the bowl there. there, we add 500 grams of water. Tablespoon of vegetable stock. So the vegetable stock I've actually made today. Sam said before that she keeps a lot of her ingredients and freezes it, just like the parsley. I do the same, so you can use, anything that's sort of a bit wilted in the fridge. So any carrots that are going a bit floppy, or zucchinis are going off, or you can literally chuck anything in to make your own vegetable stock paste. It's really simple. And again, pop that on. Now that's going to cook at 100 degrees on speed 1 for the next 20 minutes. So I might take this opportunity while that cooks to jump over to someone else.
I'm making raw lamington slice, and this is a no-cook recipe. And I actually just found out before while I was looking at it on Cookie Doo, it's a Skinny Mixers recipe. I had no idea. I've made it a couple of times before. No idea it was a Skinny Mixers recipe. So, my machine's about to shut down. Please don't do that. So we're going to make that today. I like it for a couple of reasons. It's on the healthier side for a slice, which is fabulous. It's no cook, which is also fabulous. And it's a great way to use up. I'm not using leftover Easter eggs because it's not Easter yet. We don't have any, but it's a great way to use up leftover Easter eggs or cooking chocolate. So today I'll be using cooking chocolate, but you could use a bunny that gets left behind, or a couple of hollow eggs that get left behind. So we're going to get started. This is telling me to line a baking tray, which I've already done. I'm using my beautiful rose gold baking tray that you can get from the mix shop. They are amazing, non-stick, non all the things. 200 grams of raw cashews. Make sure they're not salted, otherwise it's going to taste terrible. I made a mistake the first time of using salted cashews because that was all I had, and it wasn't very nice. So go to in Woolies, in that health food section where you find all the macro things. That's where you'll find some raw ones. 200 grams of those. This is really tricky upside down. Oh, now I've gone a little bit over, but that's fine. 100 grams of coconut. Desiccated, is that how you say it? I never know how to say it correctly. And I don't even know if I have desiccated. I just grabbed the coconut that's in my pantry. So we're going to put 100 grams of that in. Now, in this recipe, it says to pop this base. So we're making the base first. It says to pop the base in the freezer and let it set for 20 minutes. Because we're online, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to swap bowls straight away and temper my chocolate in the other bowl, and I'll just put it in to set all together. I did that last time too, and it was fine. 50 grams of virgin coconut oil. I also found this in the macro section at Woolies. Woolies is my local, and it's also the Cookie Doo partner that we use for sending our shopping list straight from Cookie Doo to the shopping centre. But found in the macro section, in keeping with the raw of this recipe is why they've asked it to be the virgin one. And you can tell it's been cold in my house because it's hard. What's the word? Non-solidified, is that right? And 50 grams of maple syrup. That is found in the section where the jelly and Ice Magic and ice cream cones are, because you have it on ice cream and pancakes. I actually don't like maple syrup. I can't even stand the smell of it, but my boys like it on their pancakes. And today was pancake day, so hopefully they've left me enough. Grams. I'm not going to chance that. 2 teaspoons of vanilla bean paste. It says C tips here. It says that you can substitute it for natural vanilla essence, vanilla extract, which is what I'll be using because I'm out of my vanilla bean paste, which is in a squeezy tube, and I'd already been to Woolies before I realised. So I'm not even going to measure it. I'm just going to chuck an amount in. I actually think that you probably don't need 2 teaspoons. I think a teaspoon is probably more than enough sweetness to add to this. And then I'm going to put my lid on and we're going to whiz this. Now, while it whizzes, you guys probably won't be able to hear me talk, so I won't bother saying anything. It's only 15 seconds anyway. So it says scrape down sides of mixing bowl with spatula. So I'll see if I can show you. You can see there that it's chopped up those cashews really nicely to like a really fine breadcrumb consistency. Like I said, this is actually our base. So I'm going to scrape the sides and the bottom to make sure that everything is mixed in together. I'm just trying to think from memory if it wants me to put it back in there or not. Yes, it does. For another 15 seconds. Sam, you got 15 seconds of chit chat or you got a bit more than that?
I have a bit more. That's okay. Take it.
That's okay. I can hear, I don't know if you can hear me or that it's changing. The consistency has changed in it. Now it's telling me to transfer into the prepared baking tin. And basically all we want to do with that is just tip it in. If you give the bottom of your blades a little spin, which if you actually go back and watch Gemma's quick live that she did before this with Lorelei, Lorelei actually did it for Gemma while they were tipping out fruit from the bowl, and it was just so adorable and just really shows that our kids are always watching us and always learning new things from us. I had a real giggle at that. I thought it was adorable. Using damp hands, press mixture down evenly in the base of the tin. I actually think my tin might be a little bit too big, but I really like that one. Put it in the fridge, put it into the freezer for 20 minutes to firm. I'm not going to do that right now. Gemma touched on earlier people having trouble tempering chocolate in their Thermomix. There are a couple of tips that you need to follow to be sure that your tempering goes 100% smoothly. A clean bowl is a start, and not just clean, dry. So if you've only got one bowl, and if you're here today with 2 friends, you qualify to get a second bowl, and that's for all customers. That's not just for TM6 customers. That's TM31, TM5, and TM6 customers. So chat with your consultant, make sure they know who your friends were that were on. If you've got a second bowl, use it instead of washing and drying your first bowl, and then you can't mess it up. If you do have to wash and dry your first bowl, that's totally fine. Wash it, dry it, use your pre-clean, dry it as best you can with your tea towel, then pop it on speed 4, temp 65 for around 15 seconds to 20 seconds so that it spins any water out that's stuck underneath the blades and also heats up and evaporates what's hanging around in there as well. Give it another quick wipe out with a dry tea towel because you don't want to put any more moisture back in there, and then you should be right, tempering your chocolate from there. Another great tip that Jem said was, thank you, Michelle, was chopping it up a bit finer. Some recipes will tell you to leave it in like, I don't know, pieces this big. So like this is the chocolate with the lines in it. I usually whiz mine a bit before doing that as well, and that just stops any error from happening there when it comes to that. So couple of little tips there. Don't forget to chat with your consultant who gave you the link for this. And always learning. Chat with your consultant about who you've brought along today so that we can get that host reward to you as soon as possible, because we do anticipate that it isn't going to last the whole time that it's advertised, that it's meant to be advertised for. So 100 grams of dark chocolate. 97. We're going over, but that's okay. So this is going to grate it for 10 seconds on speed 9, and I think that's going to be perfect for the tempering process. So I'm just going to stick with that, and I'll check it how it is afterwards. I don't know about anybody else, but I always have such a hard time even with damp hands, pressing out bases and getting them even. If anyone has a tip on how to get your biscuit base or slice base evenly pressed out into the pan, please let me know, because I always end up with a huge mound in the middle or on the side. It's just irritating. Now, you can see here that has actually milled it up to like a cocoa powder. So that's going to melt up really nicely. It says scrape down the sides, but I've just given it a little tap and it's loosened everything up that's on the side. Lid back on. Now, this is going to melt for 3 minutes at 50 degrees. So I'm going to pop back to Sam because she said she's got lots to talk about. And I'm going to finish putting this together. I am going to chuck it in the freezer for a little bit and then hopefully roll a smooth-sided glass over. Oh, Jennifer, what a great tip. Thank you very much. I'm going to do that with a smooth-sided glass, if I can find one. Let that melt, and we're going to jump back to Sam and her 3 machines she's got going today.
My muscles on a bit longer, being that there's only a little bit of liquid in the bottom, and minimum steaming requirement is around 250 grams of water to 20 minutes of steaming for Google Translating. And I'm going to share about my eggs. So I've wrapped them and now I'm going to soak them in the red dye. So I'm using the gel dye. I find that stronger, and I've got some vinegar, just a splash of vinegar in here to help it set. So I'm going to leave those in there and hope that they turn out to be a beautiful pattern. I'm imagining you know how to whip cream. Yes, I've whipped my cream, I've put it into the mold, and I'm just going to drop in my colour in here, and I'm making a bit of a marble. I'm going to make a marble effect. So choose your favourite colours. And I hope this works. I'm really excited to try this out. So you can go to town and do lots of colours, which I will be doing. You can use shaving cream as well for this method and use your colours that way. Then the next step is with your beautiful clean eggs, you want to immerse them in and roll them around in the colour. Oh, that's messy. Maybe gloves are a good idea for this. And roll them in, and that will marble them. We're going to leave them sit in there for 10 minutes. Rinse them off, and you can even oil them to make them nice and shiny. Now behind this, I have a Polish recipe right here. And so when I put my camera in front of it, it actually translates it here to read the recipe in English. And as I said, it's on live translation. So as I click through next step, I can see the instructions on the screen. How awesome is that? And you can translate anything you like. So that just opens up a whole new world of dinner party for you. Dough. Now this is got salt, so it is going to stay hard, which is what we want. So a beautiful way to present it.
I've just rolled out some biscuits and chucked some in the oven so I can hopefully quickly show you how we're going to fill them. So my plan was to show you how I made the dough for this biscuit. I have made it all from scratch. I pre-made some much earlier today because it needs to harden or sort of set a little bit in the set a little bit in. No, have this one, honey. It has to set a little bit in the fridge before you roll it out. So this recipe, I have actually now just done milled my sugar because I'll dust them at the end. So I've milled the sugar. It asks you to, we'll go back to the start of this recipe. Yeah, we can take the carrot. Sorry, I'll just get back to the start of it. All right, so it asks you to mill your sugar and take out just a tablespoon to save for dusting at the end. And then you pop in 200 grams of butter, cut into pieces, some plain flour, 1 egg, vanilla extracts, sea salt, and using your spatula. It's one of these recipes that have the little video to explain what it's talking about. But you use your spatula. Can you leave it there for me, honey? Use the spatula to help mix it. So you just hold your spatula there and just guide the mixing. Now, I'll be interested to see how these ones turn out because I pre-made them, like I said, but I skipped the sugar step because I thought I'd do it in this recipe. So there's no sugar in my biscuit. So there'll be a extra good treat for the kids, although they're going to have the lemon curd in the middle anyway. So mix that 30 seconds, and then you wrap that into either your silicone trays, silicone mats from our Thermomix, or pop them into Glad Wrap and pop them in the fridge like I did. Get those, clean dry bowl, and then make lemon curd, which you guys watched earlier. I popped that in the fridge to set, so I'll be able to make these biscuits for you, and that's ready. So we did that one. We made the lemon curd, and then it steps through all the instructions. So hopefully the little one will sit down and play for a minute. So with Lorelai's help, she's got her own there that she's making. I'll give her a little bit more dough. Luckily, we're not in a cooking class where I'm feeding you guys, because little people's hands all over my food. I don't mind, but you might. So I've got half of it here. Yeah, can you make a carrot for me? Okay. So these, oops, I need some flour. These silicone mats, we use them all the time. In fact, the kids have used them as their placemats at the table recently, because they've sitting at the table rather than the high chair tables. So roll this out to about 4 millimeters. Now you could use the Easter one. So I have got Easter cookie cutters. We've got some bunnies and some eggs. And you want a little round, or we've got a few shapes, but you want something smaller than the center of your cutter. So for example, this one here, we need something that's smaller that fits in there. So we have a circle. It's hard to see. There we go. We have a circle. And we also have a flower. So we're going to use a few. I'll just roll that out a little bit further. Oh, lovely. Thank you. Can I borrow this one? Thank you. Not yet. I'll just put 2. So it's going to be sandwiched together. So you want 2. So 1 second, I'll just get another one. So I've cut out 2. So one will be the base. So you leave that as it is. And the other one, you need to cut out the center. So I'll just pop that there. I'll use the flour this time. So you cut out the flour. Definitely bake that part as well, because of course the kids, you're going to love that part as well. And so you've got the hole, very hard to see, hole in that one, which will go on top. So I've chucked some in the oven. Let's see. Yeah, I've got a big hole in yours. Hopefully we'll see that they're done, and I'll be able to fill one. We'll just pop them out of the way. Amanda wants to know what you're making there, honey. She's so I've got some. There we go. That's a cute little bunny. I don't know if you can see that yet, but they've turned out really well. They've set. She wants a bunny. They've set really nicely, apart from being a bit messy because we were doing it in a bit of a hurry. But I'm going to pop them in my bowl.
Jem, where did you get those molds from?
Oh, they come from Spotlight.
Oh, nice.
Hopefully, if I get these out, I'll give those biscuits a few more minutes, and I'll be able to show you. You try a bunny rabbit. So the yellow ones that I've got here are a bit smaller, so they're a bit fiddly to sort of make together. These have turned out much better than I thought. And with my extras, I just made donut ones. So I've got silicone donut molds, and I make my Rocky Road in those as well. So you can make it in any sort of silicone molds. It makes it quite easy just to pop it out. They're cute little bunnies. These littler ones are the good size, even though she's already tucked a bunny, are a good size for Lorelai. A much more acceptable amount of chocolate. But it's Easter, hey? What's an acceptable amount of chocolate? It is full, isn't it? You made lots. Right. So they've all popped out. It's not so well to see, but they have made really nice, a great little Easter treat. Let's see if they've finished.
I've just put in the eggs into the cream. I guess we could eat the cream as well. I don't know. Who knows? And what we've got in here, I've just put in the stock. So I strained it using a strainer, drained the stock liquid, and I've just used my strainer to strain that back into the Thermomix. Then I've added the cream and creme fraiche. Now you could add sour cream instead. And then I've also added the egg yolks. So it asks for 3 egg yolks and 100 grams of creme fraiche. Insert the measuring bowl and turn it on to mix. While it's mixing, I'm just going to present my mussels in this big dish. Used the thermoserver to, like I was saying to you, to strain, to sit my Varoma on top and strain any juices into the bottom of that. And it also keeps it warm. So we've got our sauce cooking for 3 minutes now. And our beautiful mussels, we're just going to present them around the bowl. So you could open them up. What you could do is open them up like this, and then you could pour your sauce in each different cup if you like, or you can pour it all over and everyone can get their own sauce. So with the leftover dough that I had to make the bread basket, I actually wrapped it around some cones, and I made little cone shells like this, pastry cones. And I'm going to pop the dip into the cone. So you can do all sorts of creative things. And then that can be, you know, finger food for somebody, or might want to put some carrot sticks in there. But how amazing is that? So you could even stick some parsley out the top and make it into like a carrot in here. So we've got our sauce, which is just glorious. Oh my gosh, yum. I think what I'm going to just do is just chuck all these mussels in. But on presentation day on Easter, you would, you know, make them beautiful. And then I'm going to try one with a bit of sauce, in white wine sauce with the sherry. Yum.
I've got some egg ones, perfect, and some bunnies, and just leftover. So these ones I don't have small enough cutters, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. So you just pop a spoonful of your lemon curd on obviously your back, and then my biscuits could probably go a little bit browner, but then you just pop that on top, and I'll do the other one as well. Well, the ears are a bit tricky to do without spilling it over the edge and one-handed, might I add. Squeeze that one on there gently, and then with that raw sugar that I milled earlier, you just a bit too fast dust some sugar on top. So there we go, just 2 for you to see. So it's a bit tricky to see there, but there we go. So nice sweet little biscuit there for you, and thank you all for watching.
They look awesome, Jam. Thank you so much for sharing those. Who's next? Reese, you must have your soup up.
I do. So the soup's all ready. It's all cooked there, so you can see that just here.
Oh, hang on. Let me spotlight you. My hands are filthy.
So there's the beetroot dip. We've got the pumpkin soup as well, which has now been served. And just quickly, I know I didn't go over it before, but I also made a hot crust bun loaf earlier this afternoon, which, it takes about an hour and a half to walk through. But I had a little bit while the others were talking, and it's amazing.
I popped my slice. I put the chocolate over the top of the base before I put it in the freezer, and I just put it all in the freezer. So it's been in the freezer the whole time. It's actually set quite nicely. You just sprinkle a bit of extra coconut over the top, and that's what makes it the Lamington. I should have used a square tin. I ended up changing the tin from what I originally had, but I should have used a square one. And then I wouldn't have that raggy edge. But what I would do is cut it off. But in the jug that I tempered my chocolate in, you can't always get it all out, and that's totally fine. But instead of letting that go to waste, I'm actually going to put a cup of milk in there and put it on the warm-up mode and set it for 75 degrees and make myself a hot chocolate with the rest of that chocolate in there so that it's not going to waste. But that's yum. That's all of it.
I love that, Amanda. And I also do it when I make caramel sauce. I have a caramel hot chocolate. Delicious.
Yes, the best. Yes, absolutely the best.
Yum.
Then you're not wasting any of that chocolate.
Who's going to try Google Translate? Anyone?
I definitely will. I've been wondering how that works. So thanks for showing me that, Sam. Even as a consultant,
Yeah.
we're always learning things.
Just take a screenshot of all of us. Okay, all my consultants, if you are on showing your food. Okay, it's really he doesn't know.
Oh, Andy, get one of the kids, Sam.
Tell us when. Okay. Did you do it?